And we are live. Hey, family, how are you doing? Carrie Ann Stimson here from JMMB. We're here for another JMMB Goal Getter Live. Happy Tuesday. We're continuing to say happy Tuesday or happy Thursday. Last time it was happy Saturday. But, we are about possibility thinking here at JMMB. And no matter what is going on, we continue to practice a lot of gratitude for life and for anything that we have to be thankful for. We think this is obviously a time of great trial for a lot of people, and everyone, I think, is feeling the impact of the COVID-19 crisis. But again, we continue to be grateful. We continue to press through. We continue to just do what we need to do to not only stay safe, but to use this opportunity to build and to grow, so that when we do come out of the crisis, whenever that is, we believe that we can come out better and stronger than we were before we came in. So, hey, good evening again, everybody. Love to see everybody in the comments. We had Alma as our first viewer. Hey, Alma. Alma is coming to us from the United States, so she's in a different time zone, so she thought she was late, but don't worry, Alma, you were quite early or quite on time. Hey, Lisi, how are you? Hi, Janelle. Happy to see you all. Please drop a comment, guys. Tell us that you're watching. Tell us where you're watching from. We know we always have an international audience, and we're happy to see you and to have you. And we are looking forward to another great session tonight. Hey, Raquel, what's happening? Nice to see you. So yes, guys, tell us where you're coming from. Tell us that you're watching. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and we are on Twitter. And we're happy to be bringing to you another Goal Getter Live. And tonight is another great topic. Yeah, so I say great topic every single time, right? It's been awesome. Hey, Vanus, Yuri, Dwight. Hi, Dwight. Long time no see. Shawnette, love it. I love it. So I love the engagement. So this is another great topic, guys. Yes, every night, every webinar, every live stream is a great topic with JMMB Goal Getter Live, but we are especially excited about this one because it's another highly requested topic, and it's quite simply 10 things you need to know to build wealth. And we're talking about building wealth, whether we're inside or outside of the COVID-19 crisis. A lot of what we'll be sharing here tonight are some very fundamental tips, advice, and information that you can use to build wealth. And also, of course, we're acknowledging that we are in a crisis. So there are some of us who are going to have a little or a lot of a difficulty with being able to build wealth right now, but don't worry, this is still a broadcast for you, and we invite you to tune in. Love to see everybody. Hey, Dr. Smith, welcome. Junior, Kale, Natalie, I'm loving it. Hi, Lisa, Pauline, love it. Everybody, Roger from Philadelphia, we love the foreign people. We love the international audience. We love our local audience. We have folks from St. Anne, St. James. Hi, Diane. Hi, Carmen. How you doing? Hey, Christine. I love it. You guys are awesome. So please call your family, call friends, WhatsApp them, text them, tag them, tell them to come right here. We have some awesome information, and we have one of our top JMMB team members here tonight. Some of you know her very well. You may actually be a follower of hers. She writes a bi-monthly article, Finance with Michelle, which we publish in the newspapers in the Gleaner twice a month. And she is one of our representatives that actually would go out and give presentations and talks about financial education and all things personal financial management, because that is her passion. Hey, Keisha. Hey, Jean. Hey, Otarine. I'm loving it. I hope I'm pronouncing these names right, guys. Please don't hold it against me. But here she is. It's Michelle Sinclair-Doyley. Michelle. And Michelle is also an awesome singer, guys. Just saying, she sings. She's like a beautiful songbird. I won't put her on the spot tonight. You're going to have to check her back in another way and time. But she's also an awesome singer. But Michelle's passion is really about educating people about their finances and how to better manage their money and how to build wealth. And she is, and I'm going to get this title right? So I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess up the job title, right, Auntie Mish? So Michelle is the manager of group financial partnership support and financial education, right? She's gotten a broader scope of responsibility in recent months. And she is best of all a licensed financial advisor, so she knows her stuff. At one point for many years at JMMB, she was managing the investment portfolios for a number of our clients, many clients, and made the transition into financial education, client financial education, which is her passion. Hey, Everton from Winnipeg, Canada. Wait, Michelle, Dwight is saying hi. Hey, Dwight.
Hi, Dwight.
So wonderful. Miss you, Dwight. Hope everything is good. And then Carmen is saying, hi, Michelle. So we're very happy to have Michelle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip it because I've been talking for a while, right, guys? And I'm just going to ask Michelle to share a little bit about herself and her journey so that we can get to know her a little bit better before we get into our awesome discussion. So, hi, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, Carrie. Hi, everybody, everywhere you are in the world. Welcome to JMMB's Goal Getter Live. And tonight, we're going to be digging into some things that I pray really, really will bless you and will help to change your financial future. Or improve it, because maybe you're on the right track already, right? So improve it. No matter where we are, we always want to improve our finances. Right, Carrie?
Absolutely. We always want to improve. Thanks, Michelle. So, Michelle, I know you wanted to share with folks just aspects of your journey, because I always like to keep it very real on this live, right? People see these beautiful guests and they're smiling with their pretty white teeth and their face look fresh and they work at JMMB. So their entire financial life has been smooth without any issues at all, right, Michelle? I mean, you got your things.
Absolutely not. Right?
Exactly.
Financial fears and frustrations carry along the way, right? And so I'll tell you my story, and I hope that some of you will be able to identify with me. So when I just started working at JMMB, so I wanted to imagine that I have been hired to manage people's money. But at the same time, although I knew how to churn money, I was not doing a very good job of earning money before, nor was I doing a good job of not burning the money I earned. So I want to earn and churn before we burn. But I was doing little earning, a lot of burning, and no churning. So what ended up happening is I started JMMB with $20,000 to my name, Jamaican, please. And one day, I was listening to some of my colleagues talking. So one person said, oh, I can put one. And somebody else say, no, man, it's too mean. Put like about 3. All right, I'll put 3. Somebody else said they'll put 5 and 4 and these kinds of figures, right? So I asked the question, what are you talking about? And somebody said, money, Michelle. I said, I can put in there too? Like it's an investment, I can put money in there? They said, yes, man. I said, great. Michelle, how much you gonna put? I said, 20. Everybody went, whoa. You have money, man. I'm thinking to myself, $20,000 is enough money. So somebody just called me and said, Mish, how much money? I said, $20,000. I said, no, my dear, you know business in this conversation. You hear? I said, what? I said, Michelle, they're talking about millions. They're talking about investing $1 million, $5 million, $4 million in an investment. These are persons that work at JMMB. Some of them were my age, some of them were younger. And all I had was $20,000. Straight depression. Right? And then I remember I was so confused as to what to do. Here's the thing, guys. I know that if you're in a financial pickle, even if you're wise with your finances, because there's so much emotion going on, very often we're not able to divorce the emotion from what is practical and ought to be done. And so I had to seek the advice of another financial advisor and say, hey, here's the situation. See everything right here, sir? Right here. And they did a calculation as to how long it would have taken me to attain my goal. It would have taken me 10 years. Do you know how long 10 years is? It's a whole decade.
Oh, yes.
One financial goal. But although the figure frightened me as to how much I needed to be putting in each month, you see, that fright did something else. The fright ignited a passion in me, and I was able to attain that goal, not in 10 years, but in 2.5.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
to tell you, you can do it too. Tonight we'll talk about how.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, Michelle, because I think the nugget for that is that everybody has to start somewhere. And not everybody can start with the millions. Hello?
Maybe you have to start with 20,000, maybe less. That's okay.
20,000, 2,000, $1,000. And the reality is that's why JMMB was started. JMMB was started, co-founded by the late Joan Duncan, whose birthday was actually on Monday. May her soul rest in peace. Her birthday was on Monday. And I co-founded JMMB to give every Jamaican the opportunity to achieve their financial goals with just a few $100s in their pockets. And so we're happy to continue to be that institution today. So guys, no matter where you are, starting small, not so small, starting big, more power to you. But that's who we're here to talk to tonight, is everybody, especially through this COVID-19 crisis. So thank you for sharing that, Michelle. So we're going to get totally started. And guys, again, this is an open conversation. Share with us in the comments, where are you with respect to your particular financial goals and your journey to building wealth? And what are some of the things you are exploring and you would like to discuss? Because we do have some questions for Michelle that we're going to be going through with this conversation. And then we're going to take it from there. And of course, feel free to share your comments and your questions here with us, because we love the engagement. And just to be clear, I see someone coming in from Twitter. Some of these Twitter handles, you have to be very careful. Metal Kitten 9. But no, this is not Herbalife. Wrong webinar. This ain't Herbalife. No.
But it may be a good one for you to join.
But no, we're not talking Herbalife. We're just talking basic personal financial management strategies and tools and tips on how to grow your wealth. Full stop. Right, guys? So here we are. We're ready to go. Hey, Brian. Love it. Hey, Alicia. Thanks, guys. Hi, Odine. Hi, Chantel. Love it. Hi, Sharika. We know you're tuned in, and we thank you for joining us. Edmond, boy, I'm loving it. And Alma, you are in New York. Great. Hey, Charmaine, all the starting smallers. We love it. So, okay, guys. So, Michelle, let's level set now. So, let's keep it totally real. Again, guys, we're keeping it real on this live. We're going through an economic crisis locally and internationally that we've never seen before. Worse than the Great Depression, worse than the most recent Great Recession. And so everybody's concerned because of the impact that the various lockdowns and shutdowns are coming out of COVID as the governments have tried to stem the spread of the disease. They've had significant economic impact. What do you see as the future or the immediate future for us? What can we expect coming out of this crisis as individuals managing our money and just trying to achieve our goals? What do you see for us in light of what's happening now?
All right, well, just to have an appreciation of what the economic context is. So until a vaccine is developed, there will be a chance of us having another outbreak, right? Now, we may be 9 to 18 months away from actually having a vaccine. So imagine in that time how many outbreaks we can have. I'm not saying it will, just saying that it can. And let us say those outbreaks impact the major economies of the world. For example, a United States, a Great Britain. Then it would also impact us, because remember that we get a lot of our tourists from the United States and also from Britain. And also we get a lot of remittances. So it means that our country would also be impacted. With the country being impacted, companies are impacted negatively. And if companies are impacted negatively, it means that some companies will still be laying off persons or would not have been able to re-employ the persons that they had laid off. Or it could even mean that other companies now start going under. So it becomes important for us to understand and appreciate, just level the, just, when you just have to get real and understand what may really occur, that is what we're looking at. So right now we're in a time where if you have cash, it is king, and you want to have at least 1 year emergency funds available to you for you to use. And some person saying 1 year, that's a lot of money. It is. I had to start from 1 day, and then when I reached to 2 days, and then 3 days, and then a week, I rejoiced, right? The important thing is that you need to start doing that now, because we're not sure for how long we will be feeling the economic impact. Now, here are some opportunities, right? Or, because the thing is that it's how we look at something, right? Whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And there is a much greater chance that we will not die than us actually dying. So in other words, we're going to have to get stronger. And that is why we're doing this session today, to help you to develop a more resilient mindset and how to look on money. So that as, pivoting is a new word, right? So as you're pivoting, you know the direction, the correct direction that you need to be going. And hey, some persons may have lost jobs. I feel it for you. It's hard. But you know what? Maybe you didn't even like the job anyway. Now it's an opportunity for you to start looking at new skills that you can develop, right? And if it is that you loved your job and the job left you, if that job is a job that was within your purpose doesn't change. If it's a God-given purpose, there'll be another opportunity for you to use it in another way. But the important, how are we going to approach the situation? Carrie, there's a song that comes to my mind, and I think it was written by Noel Dexter. And it says, one thing lead to another, so when faith and courage is gone, we just look over my shoulder, see where me coming from, and I find the strength to press on. And so that is what I want you to do. You have been through some kind of crisis before in your life. This is not the first one. Those crises would have prepared you for this one. And you're going to look over your shoulder, see where you're coming from, and you're going to find the strength to press through this financial crisis.
Thank you, Michelle. And Sid, she give us a little bit of the songbird voice too. Thanks, Michelle. And I'm glad you addressed it the way you did, because the reality is that we have to recognize that we're going through a crisis, right, everybody? And we don't want to discount that in any way, shape, or form. We know a lot of persons have been negatively impacted. But the first thing I'm glad we're starting out by saying is that acknowledging that this is a crisis, and it's not the first crisis perhaps that a lot of us would have been through, and it's probably unfortunately not going to be the last, right? What we have to remember is that we need to find the strength and the energy to press through, because we do believe there is a way to press through. And I want to acknowledge everybody who has joined us here tonight, because this is the first step in doing that. And acknowledging everybody, all the comments, great. Hi, Onyx. Hi, Jody, Candice, Norma, Marshallie, Paul. I love Paul. Paul just keeps it real. Paul from Facebook says, I started small, but never too late. Sorry, you never start long before, Paul says, but hey, Paul, don't worry about it. We're going to get there. So, Michelle, let's start. I love that thing you mentioned about mindset, because that's the first part of the discussion that we're going to have tonight, guys, is starting first of all with mindset, because a lot of people don't recognize the power of a mindset to help you to determine the outcome that you want for yourself. And I know that over the webinars that we've done over the past several weeks, JMMB Goal Getter Live, we've even discussed things like debt management and budgeting and finding income generating opportunities. And obviously those are very legitimate conversations, where we're going to have more of similar conversations like that here tonight. But I love that we are starting out with examining our mindset, right? And again, bearing in mind what we're currently experiencing as we go through the COVID-19 crisis, we have to acknowledge that mindset plays a role in helping us to get where we want to go, where building our wealth is concerned. And so let's start talking about attitude, right? And recognizing that pandemic or no pandemic, folks are struggling. Some people are living paycheck to paycheck. Some are not quite where they would like to be. And some maybe are just a little ways off. But Michelle, could you start out by just sharing with us, what do you tell people who want to build wealth and live financially free in this current environment? What role does mindset play in all of that?
Everything. You know that the outlook that somebody has is going to determine what resources they see. It could be right in front of you now, but you don't see it because all you're looking at is problem, 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 problem. And if that is what you have in your head, you'll never ever see the actual solutions that you now have to wade through the maze in order to find. So mindset moves a mountain. Let me put it this way: manage your money mindset and move mountains. Sure, that's a lot of M's. That works well. So I will manage my money mindset and move mountains. I want that to be a declaration that you make to yourself. And Kerry, you know what I'd love to do to take our participants through a little exercise. All right. I want you to think about a financial pain that you're having. I want you to complete the sentence for me. Because I don't have enough money, I'm in pain because I can't.
Because I don't have enough money.
I'm in pain, right? Or I don't have enough money. So I'm in pain because I can't. What?
And we need to fill in those blanks for ourselves.
Yes. So it could be I can't live in a home I'm proud of. Remember when I was talking about the fact that I had a particular financial goal that they told me it would have taken an entire decade for what? To achieve.
Yeah.
My pain was I could not afford to live in a home I would have been proud of. That was my pain. And it was driving me crazy. What is your pain? And then I want you to think about it and complete it. Complete the sentence. If I had enough money, my life would be so much better immediately because I could. What? Let me say it again.
Yes, please.
If I had enough money, my life would be so much better immediately because I could. And for somebody out there, you may be saying, I could give my mother the option of working or staying home because she should be on retirement. That might be somebody's pain and what you could now achieve. And then the third thing I want you to do is I want you to consider this and complete again. I have always heard negative things about money and or rich people, like
I have always heard.
negative things about money and or rich people, like. So let me give you one that I always hear. Rich people are crooks, or money is the root of all evil. And I want us to get that. If that is what we're thinking subconsciously, then if you think rich people are crooks, then would you want to be rich?
No.
No. So therefore, if we have that as a subconscious thought, then the subconscious is advising the conscious. And we're now making decisions from a subconscious place that sabotage what we say that we want. And so my intention tonight is for you to become aware of what you're saying subconsciously. If money is a root of all evil, no matter how much you try to save it, you're going to be letting it go. Because if the thing is evil, you don't want it around you. So therefore, it's important to really honor what are the negative thoughts that we have about money. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn each negative statement into a positive statement. So you could say, there are honest rich people out there, and I will be one of them. And then you need to keep on saying that to yourself. And when I say it, I mean, don't just have it come out of your mouth, but say it because you believe it. Because unless you believe something, nothing on our lives actually changes, right? And then the last thing I want you to do, looking at your money mindset that you need to improve in order to move mountains, is what positive affirmations will you have about money? So, for example, it could be as I increase in wisdom, I will increase in money. Or as I give more value to others, I will be able to charge more for my services. So, what are the positive things you're going to be saying? And those are critical. So, just remember, look at what the negative thing is that you have in your head, and then you have to change it around. You have to bring the negative thing that is operating subconsciously, make it conscious, and then you can always have control over that particular thought. But until it is conscious, you can't. While it remains subconscious, it controls you. When it is conscious, you control it. Yes, Carrie.
I love that. I love that. And again, Michelle, I love that level setting when we start from a place of mindset, and we see some very colorful mindsets coming up, and I see the little devil emoji. So I know some of y'all giving trouble, right, Sharika? But anyway, but it
Free?
really, yeah.
Hey, you know something? Although I was using the example where I was saying rich people are crooks, I want you to know that that was one of the negative mindsets I had, that was keeping me back. So I was earning the money, but losing the money because what was happening is I was now having to fit in with everybody who you say, so what's going on? Lord, things hard is the Lord, everything just hard. Lord, think about it. When somebody says, how are you? It's typical, Lord, things hard, right? Imagine now. You are in a group of persons, say, boy, and COVID going on, and how you doing? I'm great. Nobody wants to talk to you, right? Right? So even subconsciously, sometimes we're trying to fit in with a particular crowd, and a way of thinking is what the crowd has, and that's why the crowd is always facing the same problems. We have to bust out of that. 2020 is still a great visioning year. COVID or no COVID, we have to determine that. Your money mindset has to determine that.
Well, Michelle, you mash it. Well, you're certainly mashing my con. Anybody's con getting mashed. But the reality is because people already talking about we're going to start rubbing out 2020, right? Can we put press the reset button on 2020? But what we're saying here is that we have to start with our mindset. If you're going to see this pandemic crisis, this 2020 year as a year of disaster and not now go on for me, and you come from a place of negativity, you risk having that become almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what we're recommending is that you shift your mindset. And just to be clear, I mean, JMMB is a company that is quite spiritual. And when we talk about, we don't believe money is the root of all evil. And to be even clear, for those of us who are more of the Christian persuasion, the Bible didn't say money. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, not the money itself, because money can do so much good. It feeds people, it builds houses, it funds schools, it helps the less fortunate. But once you have a negative mindset about money or destructive mindset, that's when things start to spiral out of control, just to be clear. And I love some of these positive affirmations coming out here. Janelle is saying, I am success personified. We love that. Go, Janelle. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. Angela saying that a positive mindset is absolutely necessary. And our friend Dion is just hitting us like crazy on Facebook. And stop believing that you don't deserve to have abundance. All of us deserve it. It's not who your father is, who your mother is, where you did born, where you did grow up, where you never have, what your address currently is. It ain't about that. It's about where you're going, and you just need to have the right mindset. So this is awesome, Michelle. I think, are there any more tips you want to share with us about mindset before we move into our next segment of the discussion? Because this is really awesome stuff that we're talking about here, where mindset is concerned.
Where it concerns mindset, I think I'll just share on my own thought process when it came on to money mindset. So remember, I was sharing that I thought, I always hear rich people are crooks, right? And then I started managing portfolios of who? The very rich people. And like mega. And you know what? I realized that many of them were the kindest people. Oh, I gotta tell you this one. So there was a client that when I just reached a JMMB and I looked at his portfolio, I called our computer department because I figured something was wrong with the system. They said to me, Michelle, what happened? I said, well, can you call this figure here? No. I said, well, that's what is wrong. So you need to fix it because the client is coming in to me shortly. And then they said, but Michelle, that's a man's money. I had never seen so much money in my life.
Whoa.
All so the gentleman came to the office. It's my first time meeting him. And I remember asking him, I said, tell me, what's the secret to your wealth? And he said to me, you know, lady, the more I give to God, the more and the more I get. And I keep giving and I keep getting, and then all of a sudden I wind up like this. Not if, please don't get me wrong. I mean, he had to be doing things, right? He was involved in business, etc. But when I looked at how that man conducted his financial affairs, always in integrity, etc., and I recognized that that is how pretty much all of them did. And so I now had to confront this negative mindset that I had. And I said, but it's not even true. And so sometimes, guys, we are being held back by sayings, popular sayings, things that people just glibly say, and we don't recognize how much this hurting us because we start believing it, and it now starts controlling us and holding us back. So I want you to really examine what are the things that people keep on saying. Is it really even true? Sometimes they're not, right? So let's not be held back by them.
Love it, love it, love it. Thanks so much, Michelle. And again, I'm seeing the comments. We love the engagement, guys. Share with us your thoughts. And, you know, everybody has a different journey that they're on, and we acknowledge that how people choose to give and so on. Obviously, that varies from person to person, but I think the principle of what it is you're trying to share is still sound just the same, irrespective of your religious or personal persuasion. It's about how you look at money, how you look at wealth, and how you're utilizing it as well. Are you utilizing it in a way that builds others up, that builds you, that helps you to be a productive and contributing member of society, things like that? And again, what are those belief systems that are holding us back, and how can we quickly get rid of them, do away with them, so that we can take hold of what it is we need to be embracing to really start opening up the doors to build wealth for ourselves and our families. So we love that. So guys, we're starting out with mindset, right? We're starting out with mindset, and I think we've gotten a great level set. And I love the feedback here. Angela saying there is a principle in giving. It starts with being positive and being consistent. You know, we love that. We love the feedback, and we love everybody's thoughts on the matter. So I think we now can move from mindset. So we know we're going to be putting aside all those negative and inhibiting thoughts and belief systems that sometimes probably some of us grew up with. But we're going to be putting those aside, and we're going to be moving into what are the positive and empowering thoughts and beliefs that will help us to move forward in the journey of building wealth for ourselves. Now, Michelle, we're going to move into the next area, which, guys, if we thought we were mashing corns before, but with mindset, the mindset conversation, we're going to be mashing a few more corns. But guys, guess what? That's the purpose of the discussion like this, because we're not going to grow and become better at who we are, what we do, without stretching ourselves and, really making sure that we make the changes that need to be made. So we're going to move into a discussion now about lifestyle and lifestyle changes we need to make in order to grow wealth. And, as a Jamaican myself, I can tell you that can be a struggle, right? I mean, let's just keep it real, guys. For a lot of us, Jamaicans, we love we little niceties sometimes, love to enjoy up with self, how things appear. We want to get this thing and acquire that thing and live a certain lifestyle, probably just because it makes us feel good. Whether or not we think it impresses people, that's another discussion. But the reality is that the lifestyle that we choose to live can determine how quickly or not we build wealth for ourselves and our families. And there are some little known tips and tricks, I call them, but tools really, that you can employ and make adjustments to your lifestyle to help you to build wealth as well. And I know, Michelle, you're very passionate about this topic because being in the field of financial education, I know you've seen and heard it all. So, Michelle, just lay it on us. What are those areas, what are those aspects of our lifestyle that we need to shift and change to build wealth? Let's break it down, girl.
All right. So if anybody is thinking I'm going to say, oh, don't buy this or don't buy that, guess what? I'm not going to say that.
Woohoo!
No, not telling you that.
Let's
Right?
go shopping. I'm kidding.
What I want you to do is to know your what and your why, and don't kill them with the how. So know your what and your why, but don't kill them with the how. So very often what happens is we say we want something and we say, no, I'm going to get that. And we fret and fret and fret, how am I going to get that? And because of that, we don't delve sufficiently into what we want and why we want it. So when you're thinking of what it is that you want, I want you to dream it. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. So if it is that you say you want a particular house, where is the house? What color is the house? What color are you going to paint the walls? What are you going to put in the corner of your bedroom? What kind of sheet you want to put on the bed? I want you to go as granular as that, because when you can now see the house of your dreams, then it is going to ignite a fire in you. And it is going to be so, almost so real that you feel as though you could just reach out and touch it. And when you envision it in such a real way, then you are going to know, start to really reach for it. And how you're going to get that fire going even more for what you want is to identify why you want it. The motivation is in the why. So when somebody comes to me, I'm going to give you an example. One day a lady called in and she was saying, oh, I want to go into an IPO. I want to go into an IPO. And I said, all right, what is it that you want the money to do for you? And after a while, she said, well, Michelle, I really want a house. And I really want a house. I said, okay. No, tell me, we dreamed about the house, right? And I said, tell me why you want the house. Let's say her name was Andrea. Andrea, why do you want the house? I said, everybody wants a house. Don't everybody want a house, Michelle? Everybody wants a house. I just want a house. I said, no, Andrea, come. Tell me more. You think a little deeper on it. Why do you want a house, Andrea? What pain would having a house take away? Or what gratification would having a house give you? Why do you want that house? And she thought about it for a moment. And then she said this. She said, my children deserve more. And I was like, what? And she said, yes. Nobody in my family has ever owned a house. We just move from place to place, place to place, and the landlord's always giving us hell. And my children deserve better. That is why I want the house. I said, all right, Andrea, how badly you want this now? She said, Michelle, out of 10, I wanted 100. I said, all right. Now we can start focusing on getting you that house. Before, Andrea would have thought about a house and all she thinks, well, we can't afford it, we can't afford it. But now what we're able to do now is to break down the practical steps for her. And together we're able to come up with a how. And you see, if the why burns you enough, you will come up with a how. So going back to my story when I was telling you that my dream, I wanted it badly, and they told me it was going to take 10 years, and I did it in 2.5. What happened is, after I started understanding badly why I wanted that particular goal, I was now able to break it down into manageable steps and break down how much money I needed to invest every single month. And the amount that I needed to invest was 10 times more than what I could. But here's what it did. It caused me to get creative. Challenges help you to create two C's that go well together, challenges and creation. And I started looking at, so what are the talents that I have? What could I do? And all of a sudden, I started now creating new opportunities for myself. And that is how I was able to achieve it in the 2.5 years. So know your what and your why. And then what you want to do is not diversify your energies. You want to focus your energies, laser beam. That is the goal. That is how much money I need to be putting in, and focus on that. And you can and you will achieve it. You know the saying, we look about with Talawa, we're Jamaican people. And once we put our minds to anything, you know we can do it, right? The other thing I want us to focus on is to know the secret numbers, your secret numbers. One is time worth and the other is net worth. So one is looking at how much is your time worth. And I want you to think about it this way. How many days of your labor are you spending paying bills and spending money on things that are not adding to the dream that you said is burning you deep down inside? And here's how you're going to be calculating it. I want you to think about your gross salary. So write this down, guys. Write down your gross salary. You might have to do it after the session, but write down your gross salary.
And what's our gross salary again, Michelle? That is the one before tax.
Yes, the biggest one. Right? The biggest number on the check, the paycheck, on the breakdown of the payslip, the biggest number.
Before tax. Okay, thank you.
Tax, right? And divide it by 20, because on average we have 20 working days for the month. And that is going to tell you how much you earn per day. Then, whatever answer you get, I want you to divide by the number of hours that you actually work. So if you work 8 hours for the day, divide it by 8. If you work 10 hours for the day, divide it by 10. And that figure is how much you are trading your life for. 1 hour of my life is being traded for this amount of money. When you therefore know how much 1 hour of your life is being traded for, then when you are ready to make a purchase or to spend money on anything, it must be worth the amount of your life that you have given up in order to have this particular thing. So let us say we have two persons that earn two different salaries. One person earns $4,000 per hour, another person earns $2,000. If they both purchase an item that cost $4,000, they have not paid the same amount for it, because one paid a whole day's salary and another person paid 2 days salary, or 2 hours salary, sorry. So one paid 1 hour and one paid 2 hours worth. In other words, 2 hours of my labor or 1 hour of my labor. So when you're going to be making a purchase, you have to determine, is this worth X amount of my life? That is what I'm trading. It's my life. And then I want you to know what is your net worth.
Hold on a minute there, Michelle. I think we just passed a mic drop moment there a while ago. And whoa, Nelly, draw the brakes. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
So guys, did you get that? I'm doing the math right here. So what Michelle is basically saying is that we need to be looking at how we acquire things according to how much time we had to spend to acquire it. So let's talk about a popular purchase like a cell phone, right? And a cell phone can be a very inexpensive thing, right? All my peanut and my banger crew, ain't nothing wrong with that. And then you can buy a very expensive latest iPhone, whatever number them reach now, 11, I don't know, 10, I don't know, or Samsung 51, I don't know. So when you look at it though, how much you purchase, how much money you spend on that, it's not just only about the amount of money is what you're saying. It's how much time based on my salary or my income, how much time I had to work to acquire that phone. And even without getting into the hours, guys, if you say you're spending $40,000 to buy a cell phone, and if your monthly salary is, let's say, $80,000, you've worked approximately 2 weeks to buy just that phone. That's what you're saying, right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so, is it worth working 2 whole weeks to buy a cell phone? And or can we take a portion of that 2 weeks and put it into something else towards probably a different kind of goal? Maybe again, if it's home ownership, that seems to be a popular thing, or acquiring your first vehicle or money to start a business. But the point is, you have to look at what you call your time worth, guys. Are you getting this? Where's my comments, people? Wow, that is an awesome way of thinking of it. And I mean, have you guys ever thought of time worth before? I mean, and Everton, thank you for breaking it down. So it's taking your gross salary, dividing it by 20, approximately 20 working days in a month. Thank you, Everton. Then now when you get that, you divide it again by the number of hours you work in a day. Okay. And then you get your hourly salary and how many, based on what you're buying, how many hours you have to work to go to the groceries, to pay JPS, to go and see a movie, not now, during COVID, to go on the vacation, to buy a house. That is your time worth. And is it worth spending all that time to work to buy some of the things we buy? That's awesome. Love that, Michelle. Okay, I'm over it now. I'm enlightened. So we're going to move on now to net worth. Go ahead, Michelle. Back to you.
Before I move on to net worth,
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
if you do your budget, then look at how much you're spending on each one of the things and really put down 1 day salary, 2 days salary. So my rent is X days salary. My groceries are X days salary. And then I want you to look at how much are you putting down for you out of all that you have worked. How much are you putting down towards that thing that is in your head? You can't sleep because you want it so badly. Guys, we have to focus on, remember, the what and the why. And what I'm giving you is a how now. When you know your time worth, you're gonna know how to better know apportion your money, right? All right, so moving on to net worth now. So with the net worth, what you want to know is, are you progressing or are you regressing? And that is what your net worth is going to tell you. So your net worth is simply the difference between the dollar value of what you own and what you owe. The difference between what you own and what you owe. So if you have a car and the car is worth $10 million and you have a loan for $9.5 million, and that is all you own, then all you really own, is just the difference, right? The difference is the net worth, right? Let me say it again. I don't like how I put it. The car is worth 10 million. You owe 9.5 million. You take away the 9.5 from the 10 million. And if the car is the only thing that we have of value, then we can firmly say that your net worth would be $500,000. And we are imagining that the car can be sold for the 10, right? Many times what happens is that we recognize that when we're trying to sell the things on the market, we can't get the $10 million. Sometimes we can't even get the 9.5. Sometimes we have a particular thing that we own, and the market is saying that I'm not willing to pay what you think it is worth. So sometimes we think that we even have positive net worth when it is actually negative. So it becomes important for us to really map out what is it that we are purchasing. So here is how we're going to do it. We have to know the difference between assets and liabilities. And we want to use rich people's definition. And here's the reason. Rich people think about money differently, and maybe that's why they have more, just a thought. So let's use their definition. So let us say, using their definition, and I'm using Robert Kiyosaki's definition from Rich Dad Poor Dad. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability does not, or it takes out. So notice now, the liability does not put money in, or it takes the money out. Now, where we tend to get things confused sometimes is that because something is not taking money out, we just figure, oh, well, it's an asset because I own it. Today is the day I want you to change the way in which you look at it. So let me tell you what I love, right? I love curtains. I love curtains. I change curtains sometimes 3 times for the year, and I go and I love to shop for curtains. But the truth is that curtains are not an asset. They're not putting money in my pocket. So when I'm shopping for the curtains, because I love them, right? I do have my guilty pleasures. I will just be cognizant of how much I'm going to be spending in terms of my time worth for the curtains. And what I will do is I'll try to earn some additional money, right, in order to purchase the curtains. But I want you to get that the curtains, no matter how much I love them, no matter how nice they look, they are not an asset. They have not put any money in my pocket. And every day we're playing a game. If my hand is my money will be an asset, right? Let us say that over here will be assets, over here is liabilities. Then every day, what we're doing is we're playing a game. I play it, you play it, everybody plays it, right? And it's called converting asset to greater asset or converting asset to liability. And in order to become more wealthy, we have to be converting more of our assets into greater assets rather than converting them into liabilities. So I'm not saying that we're not going to have the necessities of life. And many times these necessities are going to be liabilities, right? However, it just becomes important for us to understand what they truly are, and then we'll be able to determine whether it is the best expenditure or whether we could probably buy the same thing but buy them on discount, or we may buy them second hand. We can come up with all kinds of creative things. But it's important with the lifestyle, you want to know the secret numbers, time worth, net worth, and then you need to know the difference between asset and liability.
I love that, Michelle, because I think a lot of us, based again on how we were schooled in things money, and I mean, the reality is a lot of us were told many different things, probably by our parents, guardians, family members, and with all the best intentions, right? We're not here to be knocking any philosophies that we would have been taught about money growing up. But I think this principle of net worth is actually very empowering at a time like this, because one of the things that came to mind when you shared is things like your car. So when people talk about, oh yeah, man, I have assets, and then they start to list them. So first asset that I want to buy is a motor vehicle to take me to work, and I park it and I work, and then I jump back in my motor vehicle, nicely air conditioned, comfortable. We know public transportation has its challenges, so we're very happy to have a vehicle, but people see their motor vehicle as an asset. And what you're saying, Michelle, is not necessarily so.
Carrie, maybe a little later I'll go into the details of me and this car that I bought, right? But anyway, there was a colleague of mine that I would always see on the road, and he'd be walking, and sometimes, I pick him up in my car. What I didn't know is that while the guy was walking, he was buying a taxi company.
What?
So people see him when they're walking and say, oh, poor thing. You see, oh, poor thing. And I was buying a taxi company, right? right? So I'm just saying, guys, sometimes you see people, right? You don't know what is going on with them. And sometimes this whole hype up life and whatnot, it doesn't help us. It's fake it until we make a thing is not even worth it sometimes. But let me tell you about me and this car. So I needed a car in order to get a job. And when the people called me and asked me if I had access to a motor vehicle, I said absolutely. They didn't ask me if I owned one. So I then went out to purchase a car. I needed a car to take me from point A to point B. It was a traveling job. And when I went to the place, the person I was with said to me, but this little car that you're looking at, it doesn't show that you've mastered anything. I wanted to understand. I just completed my master's. I'm not working, right? But the thing that was said is, but how is a good car going to show that you've mastered anything? And with that wonderful statement, I went and took a more expensive car, a car I could not, a car I could not afford, to try to show the world that I mastered something, which equaled I mastered nothing. You remember when I was telling you how I only had $20,000 to my name? Let me tell you how I had only $20,000 to my name, because all of my money went into the car payment. Right? All of my money went into the car payment. That's how I had only $20,000.
All right. Wonderful. So you see how there's a confession is good for the soul. So Michelle, so basically what we're saying is, hello, we talk about house. So the house that I live in, if I'm not earning money from that house, you're saying it's not an asset either.
If you're going to be using Robert Kiyosaki's definition, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And we're not saying a house is not a necessity, We're just saying that, no, it's not. And yes, it can appreciate in value, but not all houses appreciate in value. Some houses, when you look at it, when you look at the price of the house 1 year over the other, it's really just inflationary increase. And some of them don't really have any inflationary increase to speak about either. And sometimes by the time you take out the fees in order to sell the house, you realize, but I can't sell the house. Right? So a lot of persons get hung up on, it's going to appreciate in value and that kind of thing. And sometimes it does, right? Depends on the area that you buy the house in, but it doesn't always happen. But what you want to do is you want to continue earning money. You want to continue putting money in your pocket so you can churn the money, right? So you want to make sure that if you have a home, you can look at, is there any way you can also earn money from the home? Is there a little apartment in the home that you can earn money from? What else can you do? And here's the thing, you may choose that you don't want to do that, and that's fine too. It's just a matter of being able to define what it is, asset or liability, and know what side it falls on in the accounting equation. And once you would have made an educated choice, then you can know how you're going to adjust your lifestyle in order to fit this particular liability that you love and you want to have, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you enjoy it, but you just know how you're going to fix the other areas in your life to be able to afford it well.
Right. And I think it's important to get that clear, because I see the questions coming up in the comments. And I'd love to remind folks, this is not a JMMB definition here, people, just to be very clear. We're quoting a definition of net worth and what defines an asset specifically from a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert
Kiyosaki.
So you can look it up. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a very good book. I actually read it some years ago. And again, his particular definition, of course, if you're talking about net worth, the difference between what you own versus what you owe, the definition of an asset in his view is anything that earns you money. So if you're driving a car, if you're not renting out that car, earning income from that car, then it's technically, in his view, not an asset. Similarly, a house. And again, we're not saying people don't need a car to drive anywhere, or you don't need a roof over your head and you want to buy one. But the point is, and I think this is where he transitions it very well in his book, and I think this is a powerful point that our viewers will appreciate, is that because a car, by his definition, if your personal vehicle, you're really just driving it to work and parking it and driving it home again, you're not earning from the vehicle. If you're just living in your home and you're not renting out a room or renting out a part of it, so you're not really earning from your home. What he's saying, therefore, is that they're technically not assets. So what you have to really do is try and minimize how much you spend on them, because usually we take out loans to buy a car and to buy a house in the form of a mortgage or a car loan. Mm-hmm. He's saying minimize how much money you spend on those things, since they're not assets, so that you can reroute more money into real assets that can earn you money. And that, I think, is a real clincher. So if you're going to be spending a lot of money to buy a nice, with due respect, we're not throwing no names here, but big expensive motor vehicles that will remain nameless, and you're not earning from it, what he would say is spend less. Buy a mid-economy kind of vehicle. Still have a little AC, a little radio, breeze blow nice, make sure it won't leave you out a road, carry you from A to B. He's saying buy like a mid-economy vehicle that can get you where you need to go reliably and comfortably, so that the difference between that car and what you would have used to buy the expensive vehicle, you can route that into an asset, such as maybe buying stocks or investing in unit trusts or acquiring another vehicle that you could rent on the road, or buying another investment property like a small apartment. So again, you don't have to buy the big expensive mansion on the top of everywhere. You can buy a smaller home, freeing up more of your money to be able to buy an investment property as a true asset, because it earns you income. And I think that is a very liberating point. Certainly it was for me in the book, is again, if you're not putting your money in these real assets because they don't earn, minimize how much you spend on them, so that you can find as much money as possible to really put into real income generating assets. Hello, want to get in the points in these comments, people. Real talk, real talk. I love it, Michelle. I love it. Hello. Please tell your family and friends, get over here. We don't done. We still have a little more time. We have about half an hour left. So we're not done yet, people. This is, yes, very empowering. Carcel, I'm agreeing with you. Yuri, Irene, real talk, real talk. Right? So, and yes, again, these houses you talk about, because Big Ray was saying that the house still needs to be kept up, and all of those costs to upkeep house will be from your pocket. And again, that's another great point. So if the house is not earning you income, and you're going to have to be spending to upkeep house every time a pipe bust, is you that. Again, it's how are we minimizing the spend on these non-asset things, so that we can funnel more of our money or income or salary into real assets that can earn us money. That is awesome and empowering. Auntie Michelle, you're just tearing up the place. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is a great conversation. So are we done with lifestyle now? We can move on to the next segment. Michelle, you're in the driver's, you know.
We can move right on. We can move right on.
Wonderful. So we got the nuggets. Know your what and your why, and don't kill them with the how. Know your time worth, right? How much of your time are you using to generate income, really? Or no, to spend on things that you acquire, and making sure that you are using more of your time to acquire, preferably income generating assets, right? And again, minimize how much you spend on non-income generating expenditures, so that you can funnel more money into things that can make you money. That is powerful. So, Michelle, we're moving into the final segment now. This is wonderful. Michelle, you're going to have to send us an invoice after this live, right? You're going to have to send us a kidding.
I can monetize this, right?
Yeah, I'm kidding. So we've started out with mindset. We moved into lifestyle. And now we're going into our final segment, where we're talking now straight up about finances, right? And when we talk about building wealth, when we talk about the financial aspect of the discussion now, we know that there's really no such thing as a get rich quick sort of thing. As I said at the top, that's not this kind of life, right? We know that building wealth from a financial perspective really is going to take patience and discipline, right? So having addressed mindset and lifestyle, Michelle, could you just break down for us now, what are the financial steps that we can take to build wealth and to get on the right path to achieve our goals.
Great. And so I'm glad that we're able to deal with the mindset first. And then we adjust our lifestyle so we actually have some finances so that we can actually invest, right? So looking at the financial, in the past, I bought some stocks, right? And I bought the stocks, honestly, because of the hype. Everybody buying the stock. And so, you go ahead and you buy the stock. As I said, that was in another life. And the truth is that we've all bought stuff based on the hype, right? Haven't you? But there is a quote that Warren Buffett has, and it says, be fearful when others are greedy and be excited when others are fearful. So,
When others are what? Sorry, repeat that.
fearful. So be fearful when others are greedy and be excited when others are fearful. So in
Oh,
other words, 2020, since Corona, everybody is so fearful. It's time to get excited, right? So if you have an emergency fund that is more than a year's worth, then now is a great time for you. And remember, I'm saying more than a year's worth because if you came on the live a little late, you may not have heard when I would have said that with this crisis, until we get a vaccine, we don't know for how long it will be impacting the economies of the world. And you want to make sure that if you lose a job or you have your job, your pay significantly cut, then you would still be able to survive for at least a year. So if you have sufficient money put down that will be more than a year's worth, then this is for you. It's time to get excited because
sorry, Michelle. Sorry. Years worth of what, please?
years worth of your expenses. In other words, you have to do a budget in order to know what that even is, right? So if your expenses per month would be $100,000, it means that you would need to have $1.2 million, right?
Saved up in an emergency fund.
In an emergency fund, right? Because if you lose your job, you need to be able to utilize that. And that's a really real concern right now that we're going through this economic crisis. So if you have more than a year's worth, then it is now time for you to start looking around at what are the assets available for me to actually purchase. And the key is that you don't want to run with the crowd because you might get trampled, right? So as I said before, when others are greedy, back away. But when others are fearful, then that's a time now for you to start getting active. I remember many years ago, we had a bear market. We had a bear market for a very long time. And as financial advisors would keep on saying to persons, it's time for you to be buying stocks. And what is that? But the stock market is down, it's not doing anything. Then all of a sudden, the interest rates dropped in the market. The stock market took off, and many persons had not done the investments at that time. So they were not able to capitalize on the huge gains that the various stocks would have made. Right now, we're in a great time because many of the stock prices have fallen in relation to where they were even just a couple of months ago. And so, what you want to be doing is remember, if you have at least 1 year's emergency fund, then you can start to speak with your financial advisor about which stocks would be good, resilient stocks for you to purchase at this time. And if you're someone who has never purchased stocks before, or you don't know much about the stock market, or you just don't have the time to be watching the news, and reading the newspapers and looking at the financial analysis and stuff, then you can go into a unit trust that already is comprised of a variety of stocks. And of course, we have those at GMMB too. And so you can always contact us after if you want that, right? But you want to right now be able to capitalize on what is happening with the stock market. You know that the prices have fallen, guys. Now is a great time. And the other thing I want you to think about when you're going to be purchasing stocks is another quote from Warren Buffett, actually. And it is only buy something that you'll be perfectly happy to hold if the market shut down for 10 years. So it's not a matter of, oh, this stock is hot, let me buy this stock. And oh, that stock, that one is hot too, let me buy that one. No. If you are not willing to hold this stock for 10 years, don't buy it. And if you're willing to hold it for 10 years, then it must mean that you figure that this is an excellent company. Remember, when you're buying shares in a company. Is this a company that you believe is going places, will continue to remain in business? will continue to be profitable? Is it a growth company? What is happening with the company? You have to know. So when purchasing stocks, it is therefore meaning that you need to have a long-term horizon for your goal. So if you want a house, oh goodness, for example, you want a house in a year, don't go put your money in the stock market. So why I went like this a while ago is because I remember somebody talking to me just when the whole COVID pandemic had now started impacting the stock market. And she called me and she said, Michelle, I'm depressed. I said, what happened? She said, Michelle, I wanted a house. And because the stock market was doing so well, I was running with the IPOs and everything was going great. And then all of a sudden now, my stock portfolio has fallen and I have lost 50% of my money and I want the house at the end of the year. I've lost the house. And of course, I would encourage her and that kind of thing through the whole thing. But what I want you to get is, you see, when things are great, we're thinking about the returns. When things are poor, we start thinking about what was the money really for. And it hits us right here. So what we've really lost. And because with the stock market, the prices don't go like this, it goes like this over time.
Zigzag.
Zigzag,
Zigzag.
up and down, up and down. You don't want to have purchase stock at here. Then it drop here. And that is when you need the money. That is what happened with her. So it becomes important for you to speak to a financial advisor. Share with them what is the goal, how long from now you need the goal as well as the why. And when you're dreaming, then that is the time that the financial advisor is going to be able to know, say, okay, this would be good because it will help to give you growth. But based on your timeline, we need to do this instead. And the more you share with your financial doctor, the better your prescription will be. So it's like when we go to a doctor, Kerry, and if we say to the doctor, boy, my head hurting me, and we don't say, and my knee is hurting me too, and my hip, you might get a bad prescription, right? But if you would have shared everything, the doctor would have been able to holistically diagnose what is happening. When your financial advisor is talking to you, we want to know what is going on in your whole financial system, your whole financial life, so that the advice that is given is specific to what your need is. And we don't put you in something, for example, that will be more ideal for a long-term goal like stocks. And because they say, oh, I want this, we just jump up and put you in there and know that the goal is for a year's time. All right?
Mm.
And another one, and I got this one from Donna Duncan Scott.
Okay.
Yes, I interviewed Donna some time ago for Finance Made Simple with Michelle, and she was talking about what were her most important financial lessons. And she said that loving yourself means creating a financial plan rather than worrying. Don't worry about coping, plan. The time that we spend worrying is spending planning. That is what loving ourselves is about. And I remember her sharing that some time ago she had taken a loan to make an investment. And when the investment failed, she was so nervous because she had a huge debt and now, she was wondering what was she gonna do. And she therefore created a clear financial plan, and that helped her to deal with the anxiety. And she developed better criteria as to what she would invest her money in the next time around. So she knows set up, I want you to get it, guys. She set up a criteria and said, these are criteria that must be met in order for me to take this money, which is a representative of my time worth, and put it in something. It must be worth my time worth, my life that I've given up in order to attain this thing. And so it becomes critical for you to have some criteria when you're going to be doing your investment. And you want to, if you've made a financial mistake, right? Almost every rich person has made a financial mistake. You talk to them, they'll tell you that. The first time I lost a lot of money, I said, all right, I'm on track. This is my first loss, right? Because I read the book. I spoke to rich people and I know they will always make losses. However, they don't lose the lesson in the loss, right? So learn the lesson from whatever loss you make and help you make better financial decisions.
Learn the lesson
Mm-hmm,
from the loss you make and
mm-hmm.
help it to make help it use it to help you make better financial decisions.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. I love that. And I think some great nuggets. And I want to say a shout out to MVP Marlene on Facebook because I say her going with Ricardo Toto. I know Marlene does not work with JMB, just to be clear. But I think that the nuggets, because I mean, Ricardo, thanks for joining us, Ricardo. Other MVP. Ricardo joined in and he's catching up some of the nuggets. But I think what you shared as a kickoff to this segment, Michelle, is crucial with a quote from Warren Buffett that spoke about, when other people get excited, you're supposed to be cautious.
Mm-hmm,
When other people are cautious, that's when you're supposed to get excited.
mm-hmm,
And so, here you have investors like a Ricardo who would have raised the point that, I would have bought into a particular stock at a certain price point, right? But then since I bought the stock, it's gone down.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of holding on and waiting and seeing and see if it's going to turn again. And what you're saying is that from a Warren Buffett perspective, if this is a strong stock company stock that is fundamentally strong, of course, you have the conversation with your financial advisor, you do your research, this is a strong company, this is a stock that you would want to hold for 10 years. Then actually you're going to buy when folks are not thinking about buying when it's low, because when it turns again, which they get the thing turn up. Can I just share a testimony? And I know I shared it earlier this year with yes, confession is good for the soul. Earlier this year at Elevate, I was sharing that my first couple of stocks that I bought, one of them was NCB. And I bought it shortly after Michael Leachin and the team took it over from government, because folks may remember that NCB took a wrong turn and government got involved and Michael Leachin bought it out and thing. And I bought it shortly after that at $9 a share. No, folks, I don't have the scotch here with me. I've gotten over it. $9 a NCB share. And I bought it and I sat on it and I never bought any NCB again because it was uncertain. Boy, you don't know if this NCB thing I go work out, and me don't know if this Mr. Leachin man know where I do. This resident in Canada, you don't know, and you sit down and you never buy. Let me see if it ever turn. And Michelle, I am here to tell you that the next time I bought NCB was 15 years later or whatever, which was probably a year or two ago. I bought it at $99.
Can I
Right?
tell you a horror story? Let me tell you a horror story.
Wanna cry for me now? Yes, Michelle.
No, you won't cry for me now, right? I bought my NCB at $24. This is shell of yesteryear, right? And I sold it for 20 years ago. And here is why. Let me tell you why. As I said, it was Michelle of yesteryear, right? The hype, it now move. If it move, it go down. And I'm watching the stock. And everybody out there who has ever watched the stock, you know what I'm talking about. And when you don't see it moving and you're watching, you see other stocks moving, you say, geez, I know if they put the money in that, it would earn more money. And we carry on and we say, sell the stock. But we need to look at the trajectory of the company, right? And so it's not just a matter of watching market trends. So very often people want to trade, start with a T, and we're looking at the trends. But we also need to look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals start with F, and so do financials. You want to look at the financials of the company and what message. Remember, the secret is in your numbers. The secret is also in the numbers for the company. What are the figures for the company saying? You have to know. If I was looking at it at the time, I would never have made that silly decision. Now, I've made some other fantastic decisions, I'll tell you that, right? However, that is one decision that I was like, oh my goodness. When I see NCB going up, oh, I cannot tell you how my stomach feel. When I think how much I could have had, Carrie. When I see how much I could have had, Carrie. Oh my
Girl, make I tell you. Well, you win. You win with the NCB one because I mean, and I mean that same NCB story. The other stock that I bought at the time with NCB was Life of Jamaica.
God.
Okay, which is now Sagicor. And I will even tell you again the price that I bought it back then and where it is now. I mean, cry, you know, cry. So, so Ricardo, of course, he's not touching his until it goes back up.
And
But
here's
that's right, Ricardo. The thing is, and I mean, let's just be clear, guys. We are not promoting the purchasing of JMMB stock. Let's just keep it real right here because the reality is, as Michelle said, stock market investing is not for everybody. And even if you're investing in stocks, depending on your age, how much time you have towards your goal, because if you want the house in a year, probably investing in stocks is not for you. So we're not saying that. Again, it's to have the conversation with your financial advisor and so on and do what's right for you. And even if you invest in stocks, maybe JMMB is not the stock for you either, again, based on your goals, how much appetite for risk that you have and so on. So we're not saying buy GMMB. The principle that we're trying to communicate, guys, is don't follow the crowd. Or if you follow the crowd, again, like Warren Buffett, when they're being cautious. So, you know, I bought NCB at $22 and it kept going down. I'm not going to sit and wait any longer, so I'm going to sell it for 20. And here we are at 140. I don't even know where it is now. But the point is, you would have been so much better off had you just not followed the crowd and stuck with your fundamentals and stuck with your fundamental principles. It's just wow, you know. And so, Michelle, we really love those points. Anything else you wanted to share in the area of finances? I know, you know, before we came on, you were talking about, you know, financial protection and those sorts of things, which is of important consideration as well.
I would say loving your loved ones is having a financial plan in place to take care of them in times of need. And this is another one that I gotten from Donna when I interviewed her some time ago. And she shared, so we spoke about the fact that it was Joan Duncan's birthday yesterday. And she was sharing that it was a bad time when Joan Duncan had gotten sick with cancer. And she needed overseas health insurance in order to cover her bills. And it rang home to Donna the importance of making sure that there would always be a safety net in order to provide the needed resources in times of sickness, in times of death, etc. And so I'll share another story. I'll tell you stories because you remember the stories a lot more than you remember the nuts and bolts of what I've said.
Absolutely.
Some time ago, I lost a relative. And it's a very close relative, you know, and I could not believe that as I went and I saw him, I'm looking at his lifeless body, he had just died. And my first thought was, God, I'll pay for the funeral. That was my first thought. I'm a financial advisor, guys. And I was feeling so guilty because I said to myself, my goodness, had I ever told them about an insurance that could have taken care of all of this? Anyway, the good thing is that his daughter came to me and said, boy, Michelle, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. And she said, Michelle, thank you for that advice that you gave me many years ago. I took out the FIP, and so I have it to use to bury my father. And so I recognized how important that plan is. Death is going to happen at some point to all of us, to our loved ones. What would you rather do? Have a financial goal. Or let me tell you it this way. This is how people lose their dreams, right? You have a dream for a house. You're saving up that money. And you almost have the money for the down payment, right? You have the $2 million. And baps, somebody dies. You now take out roughly $1 million for a funeral. And I know some people are saying $1 million. Funerals are expensive, right? So I started doing some research on how much funerals actually cost, and yep, they run all the way. $1 million funeral is not necessarily a very expensive funeral. So would you rather take that money from the house that you really wanted to have and never have that house? Or would you rather have an insurance agent hand you a check to take care of that expense? Rich people get a check handed to them, and many other people don't. And that's why we don't get a chance to fulfill our dreams. Another true story about the same insurance thing. I had another relative that died very recently. And I'm able to breathe easier because I recognize that we don't have to deplete our resources because the money is there. I can't tell you what a weight that has taken off our shoulders, guys. So I'm encouraging you. You can't just work for your dreams and then lose them. You have to use insurance to protect your dreams. And, oh, let me tell you this one. I spoke about death. Another one is accidents. Now, I know that nobody likes to pay car insurance, not even me. But you want to make sure that you take out car insurance that gives you sufficient coverage. Because if the insurance does not cover you sufficiently for when you hit another motor vehicle, so you take out a policy that will pay you, for example, $1 million if you hit another vehicle, right? Can pay that. But you're driving along the road and somebody bad drive you. You have to swerve and you have a choice between two luxury vehicles. Which one would you hit? Whichever way, you're gonna be hitting luxury, and it's gonna cost more than $1 million. You still are responsible enough to pay for the repair of the person's vehicle. So whatever the insurance does not cover, you have to cover it. So some persons know, let us say that you hit the vehicle and it costs $1 million. Your insurance can only pay you $1 million because you took out cheap insurance. You still owe $5 million. Now you have to go and take out a loan for $5 million to now pay for this person's motor vehicle. Or you take the $5 million out of what you had planned for your retirement, or a part of the money that you had planned for your house or whatever. Guys, let us not do this. We have to make sure that we are protecting our wealth. We can't just be building, 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 building. We have to be protecting it. We protect other things, right? We put on burglar bars to protect our homes, right? From thieves. We have to make sure that we are putting the burglar bars on our wealth by ensuring that we have insurance.
Thanks for that, Michelle. And I saw the question there, FIP, which stands for Family Indemnity Plan. I think most people are familiar with things like car insurance, comprehensive coverage, third-party coverage. But what is a family indemnity plan, though, when we talk about insurance? Because I don't think a lot of people know about that.
Oh, it's a pleasure to talk about it. So the plan is for you. And then as brought up, you can put on 5 people. So plan is for you, brought up 5 people. The 5 persons or the categories would be a mother under 6 years old, a father under 76 years old. Once you put them on, they stay on for life. 2 children under 26 years old. Once they have reached 26, they have to come off and they can open a plan for themselves or start a plan for themselves. However, if you have a child that is disabled in any way, physically challenged, mentally challenged, then that child would stay on for life. And then you can have one spouse or a spouse, but only one. And so those are the 5 categories, and then yourself. Now, suppose you do not have your mother on, but you have a mother-in-law that is under 76. You can put on your mother-in-law. If you have a father, you don't have a father on the plan, you can put on your father-in-law under 76. And again, they also stay on for life. And it is so inexpensive because it means that per person that dies, you're going to be getting a payout. And the payout is going to be dependent on which plan you have taken. The least expensive plan would be $80,000 per person that dies that you would get, and you pay $422 something cents, and it covers everybody, you and everybody on the plan.
400 and what dollars?
$422 to be exact.
US?
$22.40. to be exact. No,
US.
Jamaican, and it covers everybody. And if you want a plan that will pay $1 million per person that dies, then it is less than 5,300. It's 5,200 and mash, right? I mean, that is less than a light bill for some persons, and it gives you that kind of coverage. Now you can put on your auntie and your cousin and your friend, right? But hey, how many plans allow you to put on up to 6 people, right? That's fantastic. Can't lose with that.
And the payout you get, which God forbid, in the event somebody dies for that 400 and little dollars a month, what kind of payout do you get if one of those people die?
That payout is $80,000. Now, admittedly, that is not a lot of money, right? If you're talking about a funeral. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, you start where you can start. And that is where you can start to start right there. And then as you are increasing in income, then you can upgrade the plan that you take out, and then you can eventually reach up to the plan that pays out $1 million. But the important thing is to start somewhere. When we
Yes.
don't start, then we are stalling our own financial well-being. Let's not do that.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agreed. And just to be clear, I know JMMB, we have an insurance brokerage subsidiary, JMMB Insurance Brokers, which does offer family indemnity plans as well, just to be clear. We're not the only provider, but certainly we're doing this live. So just to be clear. But, I think it's a very powerful solution because it really has saved a lot of folks. I know some people contribute like $1,000 a month towards an FIP and can end up with a nice payout in the unfortunate demise of any one of the family members on the plan. So it's something I know. I had no idea some of those rates are quite attractive as they were, but it's quite attractive. And again, you start where you can start, and every little bit helps in a crisis like that, in a loss like that. It's really been an awesome conversation, Michelle. We are just about at time. I mean, everybody, the engagement has been awesome. Just to be clear, guys, that we are here every Tuesday. That's our commitment right now. We want to do JMMB Goal Getter live stream webinars like this every Tuesday at 8:30. We're still in curfew life, even though, there's no conversation about back to work and all of open up back and start up back, whatever. We're still going to be here Tuesday at 8:30, and certainly again in life in a curfew, ain't nobody going anywhere. So we encourage everybody to come on back. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Of course, we've been having this discussion here live, but it's all being recorded, everybody. And we're going to be posting it on all of our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. So our Instagram people will get to see the recording as well. So feel free to take in the recording. Anything that you would have missed, take out back your notebook and your pen and make some more notes. Watch this with a friend or family member and take in all the nuggets again. And follow us on social media for our next live, because these are the kinds of conversations that JMMB has so that we can empower you and give you the information you need just to navigate the COVID-19 crisis, everybody, but to also help you to navigate life in general, because JMMB, as we like to say, we were founded on the basis of love, and we believe that everyone has greatness in them, and we want to support everyone in realizing the greatness that is within them. And so we do have conversations like this to help you to be able to do that. So Michelle, we know we always like to end our live discussions with our guests, asking them for one final nugget, right? So we've been talking about money mindset and lifestyle shifts that we need to make, time worth, net worth, and the financial decisions that we need to make, and how we're looking at what is an asset, what is a liability, all these wonderful things. And everybody's going to now go to bed shortly and sleep on this, suck it in, and wake up tomorrow morning. As your final nugget, what's the first thing or the top thing you recommend folks do tomorrow to start on a journey to build their wealth, or to continue on the journey to build wealth if they've started already?
You remember when I was talking about knowing your what and your why? Tonight, write down your what and your why, and immediately reach out tomorrow to get somebody to help you with a how. That's what I think there.
Write down your what.
And your why tonight
Mm-hmm.
and tomorrow. Reach out to a licensed financial professional, and together we can work out the how.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So the nugget is we're not just waiting until tomorrow morning to get started with that conversation with someone who can help, a licensed advisor, but we're gonna start tonight by writing down our what and our why. What would we like to achieve? What are those specific goals that we want to achieve for ourselves and our families? And why do we want to achieve them? And then, of course, get the help that we need to start the journey or to continue the journey and how that journey should evolve. That's awesome, Michelle. And again, Michelle, thank you so much. Guys, can we get a round of applause for Michelle in the comments? Thank you so much, Michelle. I
And
know.
Kerry, I have one last thing that I just thought of, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
The song, the one that says, and I want everybody, wherever you are, you can join me in singing, wherever you are. Sing it loud. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want, but you must try, try and try, try and try, and you'll succeed at life.
Wonderful. I love it. I love it. Keep trying, and you'll succeed. Of course, Michelle, I couldn't join you in there because the croaking would have matched up your nice singing. So I let you lead for us tonight, Michelle, as usual, with your beautiful voice. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Michelle. We know you've been working very hard, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your personal time tonight to share with everybody. I know everybody appreciates it. Your nuggets have been well received. And we thank everybody in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, guys, all of my MVPs. Whether you're new tonight, this is your first JMMB Goal Getter Live, or whether or not you're a regular viewer, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining again. Follow JMMB. We're going to be sharing with you before the end of this week what next week's topic is going to be. We're not going to let the surprise out of the bag, but as usual, it's going to be awesome. So please join in. And thanks again to my marketing team. And again, we encourage everybody to continue to do what we need to do to stay safe, to keep safe as we continue to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. So thanks again, everybody. Good night, sleep tight, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye, everybody.
Right.